Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Hope you are all doing well. And I hope that you can hear, because the microphone is blocked. So what's going on then, guys? What's going on in the world of boxing? What's going on? Who have we got? Who's up next here? What do you call them? Two wee boys. What do you call them? The two sons. Chris Eubank Jr., yeah? And Connor Benn. What's going to happen there, guys? What's going to happen? The build-up seems to be quite good so far, doesn't it? They know how to light it up, them boys, don't they? Because they're coming from a line of both their fathers were the two main guys, the two faces, let's say, to begin with, of a rivalry that has been unparalleled, in Britain. And even draws the respect of the American boxing people who actually really know their stuff. They dig those guys. Mayweather Sr. might diss Chris Eubank. But what would have happened if they had got together, at a catchweight? You know what I mean? The Americans are loath to admit that the Brits actually did the best bit of promotional work. Nassim Hamed. You know what I mean? Why do you think Larry Merchant was getting so annoyed? That was kind of the start of Larry Merchant becoming a wee bit of a cheeky fellow, wasn't he? That Merchant when he came back. Because he couldn't hack it. That his cousins, our coloured cousins, come up with a better show than he did. Larry Merchant, he had a few good words about him and all that there. He's a smart fella. Obviously, he'd been in the Ivy League and all that there, probably as well, But, what those guys got going back in them days, some setup, It was classic stuff. The promotion, the two characters, everything and everybody that was involved. And so this whole build up to this fight, whether it lives up to be as great as to what it was, which it probably won't, could still be pretty damn good, And it's almost a great revisit for all of the boxing guys. Do you remember that one? Because that was a triumph, really, of boxing knowledge, skill, dynamics and pre-planning, execution, all that stuff, And they done it with panache, Because Eubank Jr., senior, I should say, English, quite good. It was quite entertaining, wasn't he? And Benn, Nigel Benn stepped it up as well, and he became a real personality in his own right, And it was great stuff. It was great to see, them boys, whoever was involved there, they were doing the thing right, weren't they? Something a wee bit extra that you don't usually get, Oh. When watch it back, should one be inclined, but it was a good fight. They fought a couple of times, didn't they? The both of them was classics. They were on TV shows, daytime TV, evening TV shows. They were in the middle of everything, Is it really the same today that there? Or it's different, isn't it? It's different. Through the lens then, with the benefit of that prior perspective, you can augment whatever plans are in place for making this current production, right, promotion, to make it as great as it can possibly be. You want to have a look at what they were doing back then, don't you, You really want to check out what extra lengths did they go to then that could accelerate this new machine, and get it, because classic cars, you can't just make a new one and go, that's just, it might prove to be a classic. in years to come. You know, it's hard to say. Like, it's hard to say. But looking forward to the fight. Looking forward to the fight. And whatever else happens, all the drama. You know, them two fights Eubank had with Beefy were brilliant. Like, you know, Benn's opponents as of late, you know, as to be expected, coming off, you know, publicity that mightn't otherwise been welcome. His performances weren't so good coming on after that. You'd be shook, wouldn't you? You know, your whole confidence and everything. And of course, Eddie Hearn there, he's invested quite heavily from the start. So it's a one to see now. I wonder, can Hearn, you know, from the jaws of defeat, snatch this one out? You know what I mean? Was Hearn as good a promoter as his father was? This could be, you know, a tiebreaker or something like that, maybe, so. And whoever else is involved, or, you know. And, Larry Merchant, like, is awful cheeky, wasn't he? Like, he was very, very provocative. And he stood his ground at time, didn't he? Mayweather was giving him all that there, remember, after the fight, like. He stood his ground, didn't he? Well, you know, it's boxing writers are usually, there's a good standard, aren't there? The scribes, the good ones like Al Merchant, like, had to be up there, didn't they? Like, he could have been a good writer in any area. What do you call that other guy? Did the one on Tommy Hearns and all that. Hauser, Thomas Hauser. Yeah. If you get our knowledge in boxing, wouldn't he? You know, he'd be quite good. And Hauser, like the Howitzer. So the old Yanks, you know, they have a good. They have a lineage of great writers there. You know, your Henry Millers, your Kerouacs, Norman Mailer is a big boxing fan. You know, all of these guys, like, you know, F. Scott Fitzgerald. You know, if you'd have read Ulysses, like all them boys did, you know that James Joyce was a big boxing fan and wrote a little bit about it. You know, it's a funny thing, you know, great writers always seem to be invested in great boxing, you know, pugilism. They seem to fare well. A strange thing, you would think, well, these guys are warriors. You know, why would they, how could they possibly, how could we, Thomas Hauser, go and hold a conversation with Alex that there? God knows, but they seem to get along, you know, it's funny. So let's see now. Let's see if Alex, if your Gareth A. Davis or someone like that is equal to Thomas Hauser. You know, it's a high old bar, isn't it? They've set the Yanks there, like, they've set the bar high, like, set the bar very high. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens, guys. Be very interesting. Hope you all have a nice wee evening there, and be good.